Hi there, and sorry that I've been absent for like a month or something like that. Here, let me take a look. When's the last time I put up a video? Oh yeah, it's been a little bit more than a month now since I last put up a video. So I do apologize to all of my 400 and some subscribers. Yeah. So I have been really busy the last month or so relearning about building a new computer. The last time I built a computer was in the late 1990s, and things have changed since then. It's also gotten a lot more complex because there are a lot more manufacturers out there and a lot more things that are new, just really, really new, like SSDs. And I don't know about that stuff, or I didn't know. So I have spent a lot of time talking to people and researching and asking questions on Tom's Hardware forum and Bleeping Computer forum and the Microsoft forum. And I got down to the point where I pretty much had everything, but I needed to get Windows installed on my son's new computer. And so I started looking for where I can get software keys. And somebody said on Bleeping Computer, I believe it was, somebody suggested, well, go to Brightsoft. They sell keys for $20. And I was like, what? So people sometimes ask about various websites that are selling software keys for about $10 to $20 or some other very temptingly low price. Legit Windows 10 starts at about $140, Windows 11 at $200. And especially when it comes to Windows and expensive software such as Adobe Photoshop. You'll find blogs, vlogs, and reviews about this controversy all over, but I'm going to try to look at this not based on my hopes of super cheap keys, but on legality and Microsoft's public stand, or which is to say Microsoft's public position on this topic. Some of what I state will, by proxy, equally apply to other really cheap keys for other companies' products. I had someone recommend one such vendor, like I said, Brightsoft, and another defended that company, which is located in Hong Kong. After researching all of this, I determined that they are probably a criminal enterprise, and this applies to other companies that I'm going to mention, like Kinguin and SCD Keys, and there are a lot of them out there. So just remember, if it seems to be too good to be true, then it probably is. And if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, flies like a duck, makes babies like a duck, eats like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it probably is. Just replace duck with scam that manipulates you based on your hopes and or fears. Now you're thinking, but scams don't fly. Yes, they do. They may go viral by being promoted by influencers who do or don't know they're being scammed. Or you're thinking, scams don't swim. I'd say that's like word of mouth, which is less effective than hiring or tricking a celebrity, expert, rich person, or influencer, so it's slower than flying or going viral. Or you might say, scams don't make babies. A successful scam is based on previous successful scams and will be the template for future ones. Ask Bertie Madoff. Or go to a medium and ask Ponzi. Mediums are a scam, by the way. Or scams don't eat like a scam. Scams eat. They eat victims by taking away their wealth and possessions. Or scams don't quack like a scam. Okay, you got me. You're right. However, I've learned through experience that scams almost always have specific clues that will tell you it's a scam. So call it a quackingly scamish look. Okay, I want to make this clear here. I am not promoting the idea of using illegal keys or pirated software. Do not do that. My goal is to educate people that the risks of such actions are not worth the costs and how to get Windows legally. If you think I've made a mistake, go ahead and comment. But keep in mind, if you're going to be rude about it, I will probably just delete your comment. But if you're going to be polite about it and state your difference of opinion with me, hey, no problem. Just don't attack me. Don't be rude. All right. So number one on my list of information to help you here is Kinguin, Brightsoft, SCD Keys, and others are located in China or maybe Germany. China may well have laws that make the sale of such keys legal in China. It is also possible that this is a state-sanctioned effort by China to undermine Microsoft. Germany supposedly has a law that makes selling those keys legal, although I don't personally know. However, international non-Chinese or non-German buyers are still breaking the law, unless they have permanent residency. International law only works when the country involved also wants it to work. Russia's attack on Ukraine is a great example of international law having no real non-voluntary power to stop them. There's really not much that Microsoft can do about China unless they deactivate everyone in China, which would give any competitor ready to sell an OS in China a 1 billion plus person market, which definitely isn't in Microsoft's best interests either. Having 1/8 of the planet buying or using a competitor's operating system would be bad for business for Microsoft. So I guess they'll grit their teeth. But that is just the theory I've heard. This is number 2. YouTubers saying that cheap keys are legit does not make them legit. I've watched a couple of those videos and they're both wrong, and in the case of the Australian Tech Yes City, they not only made it look like such keys are legit, they defended SCD Keys, a Hong Kong key seller, but that seller was the sponsor of their video. And Brian made a point of going to Trustpilot and suggesting that negative reviews there were false ones from competitors. Sus. Unless it's the official Microsoft channel, any claims of legitimacy and legality are to be viewed as suspicious, if not downright active efforts by criminals to trick you. Number 3, there are a lot of different types of illegal keys, including counterfeit, which are generated by criminals and may fool the authentication server for a while. Pardon my tongue. Blah, blah, blah. OEM, only for use by PC manufacturers, cannot be sold retail. Bulk or volume, such as business, governmental, and educational, cannot be sold retail. MSDN, only sold to Microsoft software developers, cannot be sold retail. And TechNet, only sold to TechNet members, cannot be sold retail. If MS notices that you have one, even if you didn't realize it, they have the right to deactivate it at any time without warning, and have done so to people in the past. They also have the right to sue you, but probably won't, unless you've got the money to actually pay the damages when they win. Number 4, there are billions of Microsoft keys out there, so it's pretty hard for Microsoft to easily find and eliminate all the invalid ones. I can theorize that MS would rather let an end user or consumer keep an invalid key rather than have them use pirated Windows or go to another OS, but I don't know that for sure. Microsoft's official position is that all the cheap keys are illegal, and you should only buy through them or an authorized reseller. If you do anything else, you are probably doing something illegal, and you can be held responsible. Number 5, legal keys come with a certificate of authenticity, sometimes called a COA, which is usually a sticker. If there is no COA, or the vendor, like softwaremedia.com, withholds the original COA and key while sending you a photo, it's probably not legit. If you can't hold the document that proves the authenticity, then you don't have proof of authenticity. I don't care how many times that they're going to send that to you as an image. Okay? They own it. It's in their hands, even though it's yours. Number 6, or in Jarmatica, 6. Buying a legal key is better than buying an illegal one, is always better than buying pirated software. A key is safe no matter whether it's legal, illegal, or counterfeit because it doesn't contain malware. If you cannot afford Windows, I suggest you get free Linux, or Linux, whatever you want. Sure, it uses a command-line interface, or CLI, where you type in commands, instead of a graphical user interface where you use your mouse and keyboard to command things. But there are GUIs, or graphical user interfaces, you could add to it, also known as GUIs, and you'll get used to that. Plus, again, Linux itself is free. Linus Torvalds made it that way for the world. There are many versions of Linux that have been developed by software teams that are not free, however. They are much more user-friendly, though. Additionally, if an image is sent to you, it could contain malware. But buy Windows legally, or get Linux or another operating system. Don't do anything illegal because criminals are more than happy to rip you off one way or the other. Number 7, which would be like this in finger math. Microsoft, when asked, will always tell you to buy from Microsoft or an authorized reseller, unless the person is sympathetic to people who can't afford it, and then they will tell you something that is unofficial or illegal. Please note that some keys are only legal to sell in certain regions, but illegal in others. Number 8, resellers will always tell you that what they are selling is illegal and legit unless you approach them through the black market, in which case you already know it's not. Some employees might eventually admit to the type of key being sold, such as MSDN, in which case you have confirmation that you're buying something illegal, but that's not likely to happen. Resellers make money by selling, so they're not going to tell the truth, except for people who took the job not knowing they were involved in a criminal activity. Even legitimate companies like Corsair and Asus will tend to lie to you about what you need when you're building your PC. It's called upselling, and both companies' support agents did it to me, although I did talk to 1 or 2 honest people who told me the truth. Thank you to them. Your key, number 9. Your key may be authenticated, allow updates, allow reinstalls, but still be illegal. Just because they haven't caught it doesn't make it legal. It may be turned off tomorrow or never. That is not proof that it's a legal copy, or a legal key, I should say. Note, if you paid by gift or reward card, do not throw it away yet. I made that mistake once. When you buy a key, especially without a certificate of authenticity or COA, immediately call up Microsoft and ask them to confirm that it is legitimate. If the agent is hesitant to do so, be polite but insistent. I have done this, and they will verify a key if you really want to know. If it is not, immediately call up the vendor and tell them it's not legit and you want your money back. If they agree, watch every day for the refund, because some of them will lie and try to avoid refunding your money. Give them maybe a week. If you paid cash, you've just lost it if they refuse to cooperate. Oops. Don't pay cash. If you paid by card or PayPal, assumingly they didn't steal your credit card information at the same time, however, call your financial institution, which could be the place that issued your credit card or debit card, including credit unions, banks, or online services like PayPal and Stripe. Tell them that you're contesting the fee that you paid because they sold you not the credit union, but the vendor. They sold you something illegal, and ask them, your financial institution, to get your money back. It may take a little bit, but they will probably be able to reverse the purchase if you called soon after the purchase. I'm not sure what the time limit is for such matters, but there's pretty good support between financial institutions to return money in such a case. I've had to do this a couple of times when I got ripped off, and it worked. One of them was Greyhound. Yes, Greyhound, I will continue to shame you until you change your ways. Number 10. A rogue Microsoft agent activating a declined authorization failed key while remotely accessing your computer is not proof of legality, unless what they did was authorized by somebody above them with the power to make that decision. They just committed a misdemeanor, crime. Number 11. It does not matter how many people, influencers, YouTubers, TikTokers, bloggers, and reviewers say, hey, I got it here and they're legit. If they're not an authorized reseller for Microsoft, it's not legal. Period. Exclamation mark, and so on. Warning, warning. Criminals can and do send malware embedded in an image or attached document of a key. They also do this with images that are likely to go viral, or any file that with a title that will likely appeal to a lot of people. If it's not text in the message, it can't be trusted. Warning, warning. There is a definite risk that by buying from a company that knowingly sells illegal keys, you might be exposing yourself to credit card theft. If you ever think that your credit or debit card info has been stolen, immediately report this concern to the issuer of your affected card or cards. Warning, warning. Pirated software and assistive software for pirating often contains malware or is a Trojan that loads malware onto your system after installation. Several years ago, I investigated a free software website that had paid software on it and scanned several items, including games and utilities. The vast majority were infected with malware. It doesn't matter if you buy pirated software from a local seller who bribes the police to leave them alone. It's illegal and probably infected. If you buy pirated software, then it's infected. Pirated Windows, for example, will allow criminals to install the malware in a way that entirely bypasses all security on your system because you're doing this in the install point, which is when everything is basically completely vulnerable and because it's an operational system installation. Everything's wide open. There's basically no protection. So your anti-malware system that you install after you install Windows will not see it because your software operates inside of the infected operating system. It's like trying to see the edges of the universe. Not going to happen. Warning, warning. Please do not download Windows from sites other than Microsoft. There is a definite risk that it's got malware added to it. Microsoft makes it easy to download and even put Windows on a USB drive for you. See my instructions. Well, here are my instructions below. Depending on which option you choose, it may be just one version, but some download options put all versions of that Windows 10 or 11 on the USB drive or DVD. Please note that those pages loaded very slowly for me, so be patient. It would take using powerful anti-malware that can be booted from a USB drive to avoid an infected master boot wrecker, infected secret partition, and or infected Windows to try to detect the malware. Sometimes the malware can be removed if it's not embedded deeply into the system. However, many times the only option is to completely reformat your storage devices to get rid of the pirated Windows because the criminals have full access to it. This would require a low-level format and might require specialized software if they created a false restore partition. If you bought or downloaded secretly infected and or pirated Windows, they can connect to your computer, watch and hear you. Take all of your data, credentials, secret information, personal data, and sell all of it. Use your computer as part of a botnet, use it to do DDoS attacks, shop using your credentials, drain your financial accounts, and other illegal actions. It's not worth it, guys and gals. Legal alternatives? Okay, so it's been suggested several times to me that you can install Windows and not put in a key, and that it'll still install. You can do this, in fact, because the installer offers the option, I don't have a product key. If you click on it and are using a multi-version installer, it won't know which to install, so you'll be able to choose from a Windows version list. Make sure you choose the version you want and have or can afford the key for, and update Windows with that key when you buy it. If the key doesn't match the version you installed, you'll either have to reinstall or get the correct key. Other than buying from Microsoft and their resellers, the only legal way I know of to get Windows 10 or 11 is to use an old key of yours. I'm not sure if keys older than Windows 7 will be valid, but that's doubtful. But I just tested this theory out with an old Windows 7 key I own, and both the Windows 10 and 11 installers accepted it, in sharp contrast to when I made an error and it rejected it, for a brand new computer that I built. Thanks to everyone on Tom's Hardware and Bleeping Computer who were so patient and gave me helpful, friendly advice. In theory, you could find a used PC that has a COA inside of it for older versions of Windows 7 and up. Buy it if you can even you can even throw away the old PC if you want, as long as you have the COA. And type that in when you install Windows 10 or 11. As long as you have the COA and key, it's probably legal. By extension, you could buy someone's old key and COA from them at like a swap meet. However, there is a possibility that the key, either from an old computer you found or a person, is in use by other person or persons, and when or if Microsoft notices it, they'll deactivate Windows on all of the computers with that key. Possession may be 9/10 of the law, but there's still that 1/10, so buying this way may not work out either. Sorry. Note, you cannot do what all older versions allowed for. Use the key on a different computer if yours died or you retired it. Windows 10 and 11 keys will not work on a different computer because they are permanently tied to the unique identifier buried in the CPU, the processor or brains, and probably other identifiers. Sorry, that's the extent of my good news on options for getting Windows keys legally. Downloading Windows legally. You can get Windows 10 or Windows 11 from Microsoft without a key. This doesn't mean you don't need a key, though. So don't think I've given you a free pass. The software is distributed online separately from the key and COA. The options they provide are shown below. If you're going to burn the ISO to a DVD, you should find a high-capacity DVD like dual-layer DVD media, or make sure you have a USB flash drive or hard drive with sufficient space for all of the information that will be installed. Can't find your key at the moment? That's okay. Please do not download any software that will show you your key. It may be a Trojan. It may be also, the key may be on a sticker on the bottom of your PC or placed inside it to protect it from damage, such as in the battery compartment of a laptop PC. Like you might find it in here. If the sticker cannot be found, you can either select, I don't have a product key, and add it later. Or, if your current Windows is still working, you can boot your computer and do the following. 1. Press the Windows button and R, or the Start button. So, press the Windows button and then R, or just press the Start button on your screen, or you can just press this button here. It'll do the same thing as the Start button on the screen. Number 2, type in CMD in the data entry box and press enter. There may be a delay as Windows searches for the command line interface cmd.exe. Number 3, in the black window that opens, type WMIC space path space, and this is all one word, software with a capital S, licensing with a capital S, service with a capital S, space, get, space, big O, big A, 3, small x, and this is all one word, okay? So I'm not, don't space it out because I'm not saying spaces on purpose. Original with a big O, product with a big P, K with a big K, without using question marks, okay? Your product key will be displayed once you press enter. If your Windows was licensed digitally, which I think is only for Windows 10 and 11, then it will look at the identifiers in the computer to reassign your Windows version if it's the same computer. So you won't necessarily need your product key. If it's Windows 10 or 11 again, you can't transfer it to another computer. You have to get a different key. So now you're ready. So there's Windows 10 or 11. Please choose the one from the Windows website that you need. You can go for Windows 10. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Hold on a second here. You can go to Microsoft.com/en-us/software-download/Windows 10 for Windows 10. And you can go to Microsoft.com/software-download/Windows 11 for Windows 11. For Windows 10, click on the option that is best for you in order to see the details, including instructions. Windows 10 November 2021 update is the first option to update to your PC to the newest version of Windows 10. Click Update Now to start. Number 2 is create Windows 10 installation media. to download the media creation tool in order to upgrade to Windows 10 or reinstall Windows 10 on a PC that previously had it. Please make sure you have an internet connection and your computer meets the system requirements. Option number 3 is using the tool to create installation media, USB flash drive, DVD, or ISO file, to install Windows 10 on a different PC, to install, reinstall, or do a clean install of Windows 10 on a different computer. You'll need to make sure that the target PC meets the Windows 10 system requirements, that you have an internet connection and enough space on the computer you're downloading to, and more than 8 gigs of space on the USB drive or DVD you'll boot the target with. This actually would apply to the previous option too. You always need to make sure there's enough space on both the computer you're downloading to and the device you're adding this stuff to. Okay, that's how you do Windows 10. Just remember, click on the option. It'll give you all the instructions you need in order to do it correctly. Okay. Now, for Windows 11, click for each option, for whichever option you choose, click on Before You Begin, and it'll give you information, including usage instructions. Be sure to read them, please, to make sure you're getting the right one. Number 1, Windows 11 Installation Assistant to upgrade to Windows 11. You must have a PC with Windows 10 version 2004 or higher already installed on it and have your key and COA. Your PC must also meet all of the hardware requirements and have at least 9 gigabytes of free space on it. I strongly suggest that you have more than 9 gigs available, however, because the smaller the amount of space left on your computer, the slower your computer will run, especially if you don't have very much RAM. Number 2, create Windows 11 installation media to download the Make a Bootable USB or DVD to install Windows on a new computer or reinstall it on an old one. You'll need an internet connection, enough space on the computer you're downloading to, a storage device such as a DVD or USB drive with enough free space. It'll probably get formatted, so you shouldn't use a device with data you want to keep. If you're going to use a DVD, it must have at least 8 gigabytes of space, 64-bit processor, and your PC must meet all of the system requirements for Windows 11 and be set to your language. The same is true for Windows 10. Have it set to your language, not some foreign language you can't understand. It's going to be really hard to install it if you can't even read it. Okay, option 3, download Windows 11 Disk Image, or ISO, to make a bootable installation device, USB drive, or DVD with multiple versions of Windows 11 on it, which is useful if you are doing this for multiple computers. First, select the version you want. There was only one option when I made this article and video. Whichever you choose, press down or download now to download the media creation tool, and then follow the instructions for that choice. Don't see what you're looking for? Scroll down on that page and click on More Download Options. Now you should understand the difference between legal and illegal keys, even if you don't like it, and that there may be unofficial policies at Microsoft that contradict your policy statements. You should also understand how to get Windows. Now, I do have some references. I will make sure to put them into the comments or description of my video here. They include how to tell if a cheap key is legit. This is from Microsoft, and I'm going to just quote from that part of the page that says, "Beware of product keys sold separately. With the exception of product key cards, or PKCs, distributed with COAs, Microsoft does not distribute product keys as standalone products. If you see a listing on an auction site, online classified ad, or other online page advertising product keys for sale, it's a good indication that the keys are likely stolen or counterfeit. If you were to purchase and use a stolen or counterfeit product key to activate Windows installed on your PC, the key may not work for activation, may already be in use on another PC, or it might be blocked from use later by Microsoft when the key is reported stolen. The best way to get everything you expect up front is to buy genuine Microsoft software pre-installed on a new PC, or genuine Microsoft software from an authorized reseller." And I should include those links too. The next one is Microsoft Volunteer Forum moderators and Microsoft MVPs say the same thing. I'll give you a link to one of them. You can also search for it on their forums. official Microsoft information about COAs and stickers. That'll be another link. Is Windows 10 OEM keys sold on Kinguin legit or legal, which is on Tom's Hardware. I'll give you a link to that. And I will also include a couple of invalid references. One, we called Microsoft to check if $12 Windows 10 Pro keys are legit, which was made by Tech Yes City and is not reliable. I also will include a link to Windows 10 for $20 from Paul's Hardware, which he seems like a nice guy, but he makes some mistakes in his logical conclusions. I do have to give him credit, though. The idea of buying an old computer with a key or going to a swap meet or whatever to buy a key from somebody else were ideas that I got from him. And so in the case of Tech Yes City, he references SCD keys, which I couldn't even find their website now. And Paul's Hardware references Kinguin, which still exists. But both of those companies are located in, I believe, Hong Kong. I'm pretty sure. SCD keys may also be in Germany. I forget. Anyways, that's all the information I have for you. Again, if you have any, if you notice I made any seeming mistakes, or if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to politely put that information in your comment. Again, if you're going to be rude or insulting, I will just delete, and probably I will report you and block you. So keep it civil, okay? Thanks so much for taking the time to watch my 30-plus minute video, and I hope you have a great day.